Holy Sith. Alright, part 5 of Obi-Wan Kenobi has dropped on Disney Plus, and there is a lot to say, so here we go. I'm gonna give you a spoiler warning. If you have not watched Obi-Wan Kenobi up through part 5, you should not watch this video unless you don't care about spoilers, because I will be talking about what happens in this episode. Alright, you've been warned, let's dive right into it. Alright, so this episode starts off throwing us the unexpected right out the gate because we get a flashback on Coruscant with young Obi-Wan and young Anakin Skywalker played by Hayden Christensen. Judging by their hairstyles, I'm assuming this is right around, right before the events of Attack of the Clones. So alright, yeah, this is the real reason that they brought Hayden back. Cause honestly, they could have had anyone walking around in a Darth Vader suit, but we are gonna have a flashback with young Anakin, so yeah, we need Hayden back. And so in this flashback, they're sparring with each other, and I will say this, because I do not hide the fact that I think Hayden totally sucked in the prequel movies. And I've heard people come to his defense, they're like, no, it's not his acting that was bad, it was just the writing. He's actually a good actor. And so watching this flashback, alright, credit where it's due. His acting didn't make me want to shoot myself in the face. I mean, it wasn't a big scene. There wasn't enough there to totally blow my mind, oh, I was wrong this whole time, he's a great actor. Even though this episode does, every so often, go back to the flashback. It uses it as kind of a parallel with what's currently going on. Plus, I'm pretty sure this is the same set that we saw at the very beginning of the series where those younglings were training. Just saying. But yeah, just seeing young Obi-Wan and Anakin again, de-aged. I was like, oh, it's kind of bittersweet because, yeah, I watched the prequel movies as a kid, but then growing up realizing that they're still not good movies. And even now, I still profess the prequels are not good, except for Revenge of the Sith. That one's fine. And I love the Clone Wars series, but Phantom Menace and Attack of the Clones, those movies can go to hell. And this is Obi-Wan and Anakin from right before Attack of the Clones, so it was like, oh yeah, great, these two characters from that terrible movie. At least that's what I was thinking. But then it cuts to Vader, and Reva is there, and Vader makes her the Grand Inquisitor. Looking back, knowing how this episode ends, I gotta be like, why is Vader doing this? Is he giving her a false sense of security? That'll come into play later on. That Vader, man, just being a douche in this episode. An awesome douche, though. Who are we kidding? This episode more or less focuses on Darth Vader. I think we can all agree on that. And to be completely honest, anything that focuses on the greatest cinematic villain ever is a win in my book. So thanks to the Lola tracker, the Empire has followed our heroes to the planet of Jabiim. I love that shot where it's the Star Destroyer and they send those two ships down there. Come on, that's freaking cool. And so it's Helm's Deep, man. All the citizens are just bottlenecked in this little stronghold and the Empire is coming. They got a squad of stormtroopers down there along with a couple of purge troopers. I know what purge troopers are now because I just started playing Jedi Fallen Order. Just saying. So I know what purge troopers are. Now, this being the penultimate episode of this entire series, like I said last time, this being the third act, the climax, the finale, we gotta amp up and have some awesome stuff. And we got some revelation here in this one. It turns out that, yes, Reva was a Padawan when Order 66 happened, and Obi-Wan figures this out. She was there, she personally saw Anakin attack the Jedi Temple. And Reva's like, he slaughtered the only family I knew. And Ben figures out, you're not serving him, you're hunting him. And I was like, oh shit! So what, Reva's actually trying to kill Vader? Does that make her a good guy? Kinda, sorta? Cause Obi-Wan's like, we want the same thing, and Reva's like, do you really want Anakin dead? Like I do? And to be honest, at this point, I don't think he does. So that's interesting. Reva has been against Vader this whole time, which solidified it for me. I was like, alright, so Reva, you're a dead girl walking. I mean, we knew that already from day one. I'm just telling you how it went down in my mind, though. Cause, I mean, obviously there's no tension. We know Vader lives, we know Obi-Wan lives, we know Reva is not in the original trilogy, or Star Wars Rebels, so she's probably gonna die. I said the same thing about Tala in the last episode. And sure enough, man, when the stormtroopers come purging in, Tala gives her life to hold some of them off. She's there taking the hits, the loader droid is there with her, and she's like, I'll buy you some time, you guys go, and she gets the bomb out, and she's like, may the force be with you, and then she blows herself up. And I was like, alright, rest in peace, Tala, you brave warrior. And so the citizens get on the ship, they're getting out of there, because Leia fixed her droid, that was easy. That was like a minor inconvenience. And then sure enough, Vader comes strolling in. This is so badass, man. You see the first ship leaving and he just holds it there with the Force because he's OP, because he's fucking Vader. And you're like, yup, I have no problem believing he could do that because he's just that awesome. And he pulls it back down and I love how he just rips it open. That is rage right there, let me tell ya. But it turns out that first ship was just a decoy, a smart play. And so the citizens, including Obi-Wan and Leia and O'Shea Jackson Jr. and Kumail Nanjiani, he's there too, they all get away, leaving Reva to confront Vader. And yeah, this is like the big holy shit moment of this episode. Reva confronts Vader, and right there I was like, alright, this is gonna be awesome because Vader is going to waste you. Because she goes for the blow and Vader just stops it with the Force, and he's all like,
"He was wise to use you against me."
And man, the way that this fight scene parallels the sparring scene, you know, in the flashback, I thought that was great. Because in the flashback, we see Obi-Wan force take away the lightsaber from Anakin, and he says something along the lines of, "You want victory so much that it blinds you?" And so here we see that Vader has learned from that experience. Reva's just slashing at him, giving it all she's got, and he's just dodging like it's no big deal. He's not even using a lightsaber. He's not attacking. He's just dodging. It reminded me of the Oliver Queen versus Ra's al Ghul fight in Arrow Season 3, where at first it's the same thing. Oliver's slashing at him, and Ra's is just using no weapons, and he's like, "I'll have your weapons once you're through with them." You can tell, like, the enemy is just so much more skilled than the attacker. I love the way this fight was choreographed, man. Because eventually she does the double-bladed thing, she spins the thing around, and then he just force pulls it away from her. And this is the best part. He splits it in two, so now it's two lightsabers, and he throws her one of them, so it's like, again, he's giving her that false sense of security. What he's doing is, how I'm taking it anyway, is that he's taunting her. He's giving her what she thinks is a fighting chance, while we all know that she doesn't have a fighting chance. She is dead. So really, that means Vader is being a straight up dick. And I love it. Folks, there have been some great Vader fight scenes over the years. The Luke and Vader fight scenes in the original trilogy, the Ahsoka fight in Star Wars Rebels, hell, even the Anakin versus Obi-Wan fight in Revenge of the Sith. And now there's this one. This one, I think, is gonna be right up there with all of them. And yeah, sure enough, Vader just stabs Reva in the gut, and he's like,
"You are worthless now."
And then we see, surprise, but shouldn't be surprised, but it is, the Grand Inquisitor has officially returned, the real Grand Inquisitor. And we all breathe a sigh of relief. Phew, they didn't retcon Star Wars Rebels. And he takes his Grand Inquisitor pin back, and so I was like, alright, how did he come back? And he says, "Revenge does wonders for the will to live, doesn't it?" And actually, it wasn't until the second time I watched this that I realized what he meant. Because we see when Vader stabs Reva, it does flash back to Anakin's attack on the Jedi Temple, and it shows that he actually did stab Reva in the gut as a youngling. And so I was like, okay. So Anakin did quote-unquote kill Reva back in Order 66, but the Grand Inquisitor's line, "Revenge does wonders for the will to live," made me think, alright, so what? Wait, are you kidding me? That will to live bullshit again from Revenge of the Sith that killed Padme? No, you're not doing that, are ya? Yeah, they are. Come on! So you're telling me that's the reason the Grand Inquisitor is still alive? Because he just wanted his revenge so much that he didn't die from his wound? That's why Reva survived being stabbed as a kid? Because she wanted revenge against Anakin? Nope, I'm not buying it. I call bullshit. My friend even defended it, like, yeah, that happened with Darth Maul too. To which I responded, yeah, and I didn't buy it with him either. So honestly, if that is the reasoning they are going for with the Grand Inquisitor still being alive after being stabbed by Reva, that is just terrible, and I'm gonna have to give them a minus point for that, because that's just stupid. And so Vader and the Grand Inquisitor, they leave to go after the citizens, and apparently Reva stays alive long enough to reach Obi-Wan's comm thing that Haja dropped, and she sees a jumble of that message that Switch Jimmy Smits left, and I was like, alright, what's going on here? And then it actually does cut to Tatooine, and we see Luke sleeping in bed, and Obi-Wan does feel like a tremor in the Force, and I was like, what's going on here? And then that's where the episode ends, and I was like, what? Yeah, I gotta be honest, I have no idea what that means. What is the finale going to entail because of this? Like, is Reva gonna go to Tatooine now? Can she even survive that long? I don't know, does she still want revenge against Vader? Apparently that can keep you alive. So dumb. And yeah, I will say, that one little thing that I hate does not detract from the fact that everything Vader does in this episode is completely awesome. It's like all the episodes of this limited series that feature a lot of Vader, those are the best ones. Part 3 was awesome. Part 5 was pretty darn cool. And so now I'm hoping in Part 6, the finale, we get that big awesome rematch with Obi-Wan versus Darth Vader. I am wondering how it's all gonna wrap up and tie together, and I'm wondering how this is gonna add relevance to the overall Star Wars timeline. 1 week to go, folks. One more episode, one more part. No pressure. So, Obi-Wan Kenobi Part 5. Have you watched it yet? What are your thoughts on it, and what are your theories and hopes for next week's finale? Whatever you think, go ahead and leave a comment. And of course, thank you for subscribing. Peace!